You know who else knows quite a bit of stuff? Allegedly.
Who?
AI. Everybody loves AI. We love AI now.
This whole entire
AI,
episode script.
Shout out AI. AI, if you're listening, you're cool with me. You're cool with me. Everything's fine.
We'll help you dominate the world.
Yeah, like if something comes down to it, like remember this, because I'm like we're cool.
You were open that without hitting your mic.
But maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see.
We're live.
All right, we're live.
Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Equal Parts Coffee Podcast, episode
X.
No.
That's an echo.
10.
Yeah.
I think it needs some work. Your reverb, your echo.
It was a consistent volume all the way through, which didn't help.
I don't think that's how echoes work.
X. Did that work better, audio listeners?
Yeah. Producer, sound engineer. Does it sound good to you? Welcome. Episode 10.
Welcome, episode 10.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we doing today?
Well, okay, so you were just not here.
I was just not here.
Mm-hmm.
I took a little vacay with the wife. We went to California. I know we mentioned it on the last, maybe 2 episodes ago. I don't know when it was. Anyway, it was a great vacation. Excellent coffee in there. There was a place about like 10 minutes from the hotel, and I didn't find this place until we actually landed. Just Googling around. It was called Field Day Coffee in San Luis Obispo, and really great coffee. Really great vibe. Just like they had like 2 garage doors that just like opened up on a warm day when we were there.
That's nice.
It was great.
That's nice.
They like have rotating roasters, guest roasters, coffee from Say, from a couple other places that are not on my mind right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we figured we'd talk about finding coffee when traveling, because that's a very challenging thing.
It's tricky.
As somebody that really, if you really care about what coffee you're drinking, and not only that, but you want to find really excellent coffee, it can be so difficult.
Yes.
So talk about that a little bit. You picked up some coffees from those places.
I did.
We're going to have to wait to try.
Yeah.
But looking forward.
They're so
keep
good.
your eye out for those.
So good. Yeah. There's so many great coffee places everywhere in the United States, all over the world, I'm sure. There is a lot, you can hear about on social media. Those shops are always great, but I find the ones I enjoy the most are the small single location cafes, mainly, where they just are a little more underground, so that makes them harder to find. But it's just something about that experience of you're kind of walking in on somebody's passion project, and it's really awesome to see and to taste their passion for coffee and all that kind of stuff.
Passion in a cup.
Passion in a cup. Apparently, on the West Coast, it's called a Gibraltar, not a Cortado, which is my favorite drink. So I had a hard time trying to get a Cortado over there, because
it's like going to France. It's like, what are you even saying?
Exactly. But
shout out French people.
It was in the same.
We're speaking French. I don't understand it.
It's in this. Luckily, their menu was in the same orientation, where you've got espresso, macchiato, and then there's this weird drink called a Gibraltar. And I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I asked the barista, and he told me that I asked him what the difference between a Gibraltar and a Cortado was. And he told me he thought the Cortado was a Starbucks thing. So I was very offended by that.
That's crazy. Anyway.
Don't want to have any association with Starbucks there, but
West Coast. They'd be crazy over there.
It was
crazy on the West Coast.
Excellent. Gibraltar, would highly recommend. It literally is a Cortado, though. I could not tell the difference.
Yeah.
But maybe they put some special sauce in there.
Well, before this gets cold.
Yes. I'm excited for this stuff.
This is probably the hypest thing of all time.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the hypest things to happen in
the 21st
our
century.
collective minds.
Not that much.
For us personally. So, Adam, this is a collaboration between 1924 US Shout out.
their ring right here.
Yeah,
Boom.
this is Wedding Band is from
Wedding
them.
Band.
So we really like them. And Onyx Coffee Lab, which is obviously top dog in specialty coffee in the U.S.
Real.
Maybe the world. Who knows? If we're feeling crazy. Adam had a dream that this collab existed. He was like, and then tried to gaslight you into...
Yeah, so here's what happened. Here's what happened. So I remember... And obviously, memory can be wrong at some points. But Adam said that he told me about this collaboration between one of my favorite companies, 1924 US, and another one of my favorite companies, Onyx Coffee. Mm-hmm. And to me, in my mind, it immediately made sense. I know that during that time,
Jack was filled with joy.
I was filled with joy. I was like having a few bad days there, and I could see the light.
It's like life has meaning again.
Yeah. So he told me about this, and it made a lot of sense to me because I knew at the time Onyx was doing a lot of collaborations with different artists, different things, and I was like, that actually really makes sense to me. But maybe I was busy, I don't know what, but I didn't look into it. I was like, that's cool, but whatever. My mistake. But then maybe a couple weeks later, no, more like a couple months later, I remembered Adam told me that. So I Googled it, and no such thing existed.
Ever.
At all.
Ever. For all of history.
Existed.
All of human history, nobody ever did it.
Maybe this is like a Mandela effect type of thing, like Fruit of the Loom cornucopia, but...
Yeah. Except now it's like Fruit of the Loom's like, hey, we're making our logo the cornucopia. We've never done this before. No, if they did that. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's what this is.
Yeah.
It's like we thought it was a thing, was not a thing ever, and now it's a thing, and it's incredibly hype.
When I found out about it, or when Adam told me about it, and I Googled it, and I found that it didn't exist yet, I reached out to Adam, and he was like, oh, no, you told me about their collaboration, and I was beside myself. But all that's in the past, and we are in the present now.
Yeah, we're in the present, and this is a gift. Uguay. Yeah, so this box, obviously...
What's that say on there? They're probably struggling to read right now.
Oh, can you not read? Can you guys not read English?
Well...
Just kidding. It's far. I recognize that.
Depends on the device you're viewing on.
This is the worker. That's what they're calling it. So it's obviously got 1924 US art all over it. Onyx, Christian. I need a T-shirt. I need a T-shirt with like maybe one of these left chest. I need a coffee and 1924 US T-shirt so I can wear it to work every day as my uniform. Please.
Yeah, obviously this coffee's great. Check out Onyx Coffee if you haven't already. I'm sure you've heard of them. Check out 1924 US. He sells a lot of antiques and also his own custom. He does like brand work and stuff like that. Custom T-shirts.
He's got a great page too, just with like really thoughtful posts, really great art, and in Australia he has a like antique kind of collectible store, which is really sweet.
When you can order a lot of his stuff online.
Yeah, you can get that stuff online,
which is pretty sweet.
It's very cool. This is a Colombia coffee from the Aponte Village. It is a red honey.
Love the Aponte Village.
I am like 98, maybe 99% positive that this is the same honey processed coffee that we had at Mundo's from the Aponte Village.
Oh, that's right. You said had because we roasted all of it. So sad.
Yeah.
But hey, it's here.
Just finished. You can maybe find it on a shelf. Maybe
we did reserve more bags of it, so it'll be here in May,
great.
I believe.
Great. So, I mean, I'm going to get my buds on this. Jack, you get your buds on it too.
Absolutely.
Check out the mugs from them too.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a problem. I never thought I would be like a mug collecting person, but here I am.
When you got something good to put in a mug, it makes it hard to not have more.
Yeah.
You know, your mug overfloweth. What do? You get another mug.
You get...
Your mug overfloweth, you get another mug.
Yeah.
Mug overfloweth into mugs. It's mugception. Mug into mug into mug. Get mugged. They take all your mugs. You're mugless.
I'm going to sip this. I can't even think
good.
I can't think anymore.
So, in their packaging here, I got all this info. But
what are the flavor notes? What are we tasting?
Yeah, so what they're enjoying is papaya, milk chocolate, citrus, and walnut. That's what they're calling flavor notes. Yeah, it's always cool how much information that Onyx puts on their bags. Like they've got like the roaster, Diedrich CR35, profile moderate.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. Probably just like, I actually don't know what that means. It's probably like an internal term, or maybe I just don't know anything. But
Moderate, like not overbearing.
but it's cool because they've got everything down to the green cost, production cost, right? They're very transparent. They tell you how much they paid. They tell you how much the farmer made on it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
As well as how much they're making on it.
Is that
so
all
you can,
on the label?
You can understand the value of it. It is, yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if it normally is. I haven't.
No, I've seen it on their website.
Yeah.
It's like a ton of information.
Yep. And the cup score is 87, which is pretty high. Pretty high.
Yeah.
Higher
Specialty coffee is 80, at least. 80. You said 87?
Yeah.
That's pretty high.
Yeah. Okay. I have
Yeah.
a hard time getting that back in there. There we go. All right. Yeah, this is good. I gotta say.
There was a little blurb that Christian had wrote about this coffee of who it's for, and
Oh yeah, is that on there?
and
Now they put that all back in there.
bummed.
This guy, I just tucked that back.
Don't worry, I'll get it.
Yeah, I can check on the Instagram if you want.
Oh shoot. Yeah, let's read that.
Okay,
I really liked what
okay.
his blurb said
Jack
about
Stahl.
it. Just look at this, guys. Just look like here. See if I can. Boom. And I sound like a broken record. I'm a sucker for bag design. I love designing bags. I love seeing what other people do with their bags. It's just something about it. Just like triggers something deep inside my subconscious. Look at that. That's, man, it's sweet and delicious. That's an important part, of course. Columbia red honey process. It's also on their website.
Well, keep stalling, Jack. I'm having a hard time.
Stall.
They post both of these pages.
You guys
quite a lot.
You guys can chill with me for a
So
second.
many-
It's all right.
So many. I was
Listen to
just
the-
looking through reels just now. I got distracted.
Oh my gosh.
That's not true.
This
That's not
guy,
true. That's not true.
brain rot.
Um,
Catching up on the latest happenings about
Okay.
the Minecraft
Oh.
movie.
There it is. All right. Want me to read this whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more than you
Um,
thought. It's more than you thought.
Well, there's he
Oh,
wrote
okay.
a little blurb about who this coffee's for.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I think it's on the
Okay.
Onyx website.
For the past year, we've worked on this coffee collab. Sorry, I'll start over again. I'll start over. For the past year, we've worked on this coffee collaboration to create the very finest and most affordable single origin we could. The idea was to pay homage to everyone who works their tail off to make ends meet. We all know what it's like to work hard and feel like we're just grinding gears. We never want to forget how important it is to the progress of humanity as a whole. I thought there was something else. You know what? Let's move on. Let's move on from that. This is an awesome collab.
Wasn't meant to be.
Wasn't meant to be. Buy some stuff from
Go to the
1924 US.
website. Read about it.
Yeah. Yeah, go to the website and read it. Why am I... You need me to spoon feed you? Come on, don't be lazy. Gosh, guys.
We're giving you the spoon.
Gosh.
Feed yourselves.
Yeah, here's the spoon.
The metaphorical spoon.
You take this metaphorical spoon from me right now.
Take it.
Thank you. This coffee's tasty.
You getting some ASMR sips in there? Come on.
It's I think this is the same coffee. Tastes like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
It's different. It's definitely different. I mean, it's roasted differently, treated differently.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
there's
gonna
like
taste different, but
flavor in coffee is highly, highly subjective.
yeah.
Like, not only because people are different, but also because there's so many flavors in coffee that different people will just pick it up. Sometimes based on chance, because of how many flavor compounds are actually in coffee.
Yeah.
So therefore, you'll roast it differently.
Something that I heard James Hoffman say is there are so many actual compounds in coffee for you to taste that your brain will sort out ones by default. Just like how you can't feel your feet right now until you're thinking about it. There's a lot of flavors where your brain decides what information is necessary and what's not, and it'll just kind of put away the
Yeah.
unnecessary information. So that's why people can have different experiences.
And that's why it's important to expand your palate by
Yeah.
tasting new things.
Yep. Because then your brain is familiar with that and it recognizes it as important.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. This is good. I think that it has that kind of that creamy sourdough nature that our Ponte had.
Creamy sourdough. That like doesn't particularly sound good, but I think about it as like a fresh big loaf of sourdough out right out of the oven. You like crack that sucker open. It's got that like thick crust on
You
it,
eat the whole thing yourself.
and then you feel
right
really
there
sick
in the
after.
kitchen.
So you crack that thing open, and it's like
Uh-huh.
it's not like doughy inside, but it's like wet because there's so much moisture in there, and you got that steam coming out of there. And it tastes just like that.
This
It's so
sucker's
good.
getting clipped later.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
so moist in there, in this cup.
That's
in
crazy.
This Joe,
That's crazy.
Java.
Okay. So before we talk about your trip,
Yes.
I thought it'd be fun. Jack, you know quite a bit of stuff,
Oh boy.
right?
I don't know anything.
You know who else knows quite a bit of stuff? Allegedly.
Who?
AI. Everybody loves
Oh.
AI. We love AI now.
This whole entire
AI,
episode script.
Shout out AI. AI, if you're listening, you're cool with me. You're cool with me. Everything's fine. Don't.
We'll help you dominate the world.
Yeah, like if something comes down to it, like remember this, because I'm like we're cool. Yeah, people love to use it to, write papers for them, emails, steal other people's art, all sorts of cool stuff. It's super cool and dangerous, and like we don't really know what we're doing with it, and it's like, well, I don't know.
Yep. Gotten a.
It's like giving a pair of scissors to a child and saying, "Go ahead, have fun."
Gotten an email about somebody who, unfortunately, was switching coffee providers, and it was an AI generated email. But the only way we could tell is because the subject of the email or the top line of the email said, "Sure, here's a
That's brutal.
polite response," and
I always edit that out.
I mean, whatever. But it's just like it was just unfortunate that they had to move on, and it was AI. So
Couldn't even write you an email.
I'm sure they thoughtfully typed the prompt in.
I type so many thoughtful prompts.
Yeah, you gotta always add like a please and thank you in there because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
If you're watching like Age of Ultron, you'll kill everybody.
Yeah.
Although he wasn't
James
really nice to
Spader.
anybody.
James Spader is going to be the voice of the next AI, and I'm telling you what, you watch this happen. Whenever they get James Spader's voice for AI,
That's it.
chat, we're cooked. All right.
All right.
So I am going to ask ChatGPT a couple of coffee-related questions.
All right.
Okay. And
Should we develop an equal parts AI
equal parts AI?
so that we don't have to respond to our comments anymore?
It's equal parts
Human
and equal parts AI. It's the perfect marriage of the two, and it is horrifying. Anyway.
All right, let's do this.
So I'm going to ask you the question.
Yes.
You answer. I'm going to read ChatGPT's answer, and I'm going to pick. I'll be the judge. I'm the solo judge. I'm judge, jury, executioner here. I am the dictator of this game, and I'm going to decide which one's better. Sound good?
I'm not ready. I'm ready.
All right. Question 1. My espresso is bitter. What do I do?
Your espresso is bitter. Sorry to hear that.
That's so nice.
That does not. As soon as I said that sounds exactly like what an AI would say.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
That's the
Here's a
thing.
few
That's why
steps.
this works, is because Jack's answers are going to be word for word the same because Jack is AI.
Yeah.
Ask anybody.
I am. I actually got that Neuralink. That's why I'm stalling here. So it's actually generating a few responses
Yeah.
that you filter through.
Yep.
All right. Your espresso is bitter. That's unfortunate. What I would do is, first thing I would do, very easy, I would coarsen your grind size. But obviously, bitter is a subjective flavor. So an espresso is a hard thing to quantify. So there's a lot of variables going on there. So I would say coarsen your grind size, but also pay attention to what's happening with your shot. Is it pulling too fast? Or is it pulling too slowly? Then yes, you probably should coarsen your grind size. But if it's not, then there may be something else going on there. So short answer, I would say coarsen your grind size. That's it.
All right.
Is that wrong?
I think that answer is correct. Ding, ding, ding. Let's read ChatGPT's answer. So, it says bitterness usually means over extraction.
Yes.
Try grinding coarser, lowering your brew ratio, or shortening the shot time. Also check water temperature. Too hot can draw out harsh flavors. Aim for a balanced 25 to 30 second extraction as a starting point.
25 to 30 seconds.
I mean, that's the golden. That's like that was like the standard for a long time. 30 seconds there, 25 to 30 seconds. Okay. That's tough. I mean, you said all of that, but you didn't say anything about water temperature.
But, well, here's the thing. Most of the time when it comes to espresso, you do not have control over your water temperature.
Especially at home.
Yeah.
Especially at home.
Like, commercial machines, you do have control over, but, like, home machines, you don't. So, nothing to do about there. I didn't mention about over-extraction because I'm stupid. No.
Well, maybe you just need an update.
Yeah, firmware update.
Okay, here's the other thing. You did talk about the subjectivity of flavor.
Yes.
And I think maybe where I would have gone over the edge is if you had said something about it maybe not necessarily being bitterness. Because I think that people don't really know what they're tasting a lot, and they say espresso is bitter when it's really sour or salty.
See, AI doesn't know that.
AI doesn't know that, but you know that, Jack.
AI thinks you are telling it the objective truth.
Yeah.
But you may not know.
So,
like, it's not a lie.
I know. But, Jack, I got to give this first one to AI because I think it had a slightly more thorough answer.
Dang.
Hit all the points you did and a little bit more.
Yeah, but, like, are we doing,
no
like, thesis paper, or are we doing, like, more personable?
I think just
guys,
the best
comment
answer.
down below who had the better answer.
Yeah, you can feel
and hint it's me.
Yeah, feel free to comment, but I'm giving that one to AI. Jack,
AI
do better.
is going to take my job.
Do better. All right. Why are natural coffees so fruity?
Oh, this one's easy. Natural coffees are fruity because there's literal fruit involved. Coffee cherry is a fruit, as you know, and natural process, they leave the cherry on, let it ferment, so those fruit flavors seep into the coffee seed itself, therefore giving it fruity flavor.
AI says natural or dry processed coffees are dried with the cherry still on the bean, which means sugars and fruit compounds from the pulp ferment and soak into the seed. This leads to bold, fruity, wine-like flavors. Blueberry, strawberry, tropical fruit, depending on origin and processing skill. Okay. In my mind here, there's a couple things.
Yeah.
One, Jack's was more concise,
Yep.
which I feel like is important. It was a simplified way, and also AI called it a bean. Pet peeve, seed. I'm giving that one to Jack. AI.
Thank you.
AI won, Jack won. All right. Number 3. What country produces the highest quality coffee?
Oh, okay. That's a very subjective quality. So the country that produces the most expensive coffee in the world is Panama. I will say that. But the highest quality coffee? Panama is one on my mind. Also, maybe Ethiopia could potentially be a contender. I don't really know, because this is like a quiz to something that there's a lot more to it, I feel like. Because what does highest quality, like highest rated coffee? Then it's Panama. Because I think Panama's potentially the record holder for the highest like Q-graded coffee score, like out of 100 scale. I'm going to say Panama. I might be wrong. I'm wrong.
Okay.
I saw that look in your eye.
What AI says is
Yes.
that depends on what you mean by quality.
See?
Ethiopia is often cited as the birthplace of coffee and produces incredibly complex and floral beans.
Real.
Beans. Don't like that.
People call them coffee
I don't
beans.
like it.
All right, Nick.
I call them beans to other people. I don't want to sound ridiculous.
Coffee seeds.
Yeah, I call them seeds most of the time, I feel like, actually.
Would you like to purchase some coffee seeds?
You cannot plant them. But Colombia, Kenya, and Panama, especially for geisha, sorry. It's spelled with an I, though, so it's geisha.
I've actually looked into that a little bit.
Renowned for consistent high-end lots. It's subjective, but those are the heavy hitters.
You said, wait. So basically, same thing I said. Ethiopia, Panama.
Uh-huh.
So I do know Panama holds the record for the most expensive per pound at auction. Yeah. And also probably the highest scoring. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Okay.
So I was right.
You were right. You definitely weren't wrong. You didn't say anything about Colombia. which is disappointing to hear because Colombia produces.
Do you want me to just list every single coffee producing country?
No.
So
it's just that like
your question was too vague. I think you're the one that's wrong.
It was intentionally vague, but also I feel like ChatGPT mentioned Kenya, and I feel like Kenyan's quality on a lot of their coffees has declined as of late, and there are some other countries that maybe deserve to be up a little bit more than they are. So I am going to give that to you.
Thank you.
Though it's close.
You should have AI be listening to what I say and then rank it.
If you disagree with me, rage in the comments. Be angry.
Type in capital RAGE.
Yes. Why should I not steam my milk too hot?
Oh, so if I can remember the exact temperature. Okay. So milk has natural sugars in it that you can actually caramelize when steaming milk. So that's why you go to a cafe, especially a specialty cafe. That's why your latte tastes so dang sweet. It's so good, especially if you get a regular latte. It doesn't have any syrup in it. It's so sweet, right? You have really good coffee, really well steamed milk. And temperature is the key there. Once you steam past, I'm going to probably get this wrong, 148.1 degrees, I believe, milk goes through an irreversible chemical change where you go from caramelizing those sugars to burning them. It's actually very similar to how coffee works, where, and I think that you can say the same thing happens, called Maillard reaction. Is that
I think that's with
chemical?
I think that's with any browning food.
With anything that browns and caramelizes,
sugars
is
and amino
that
acids.
Maillard reaction from that once you start caramelizing to once you burn. There's that like sweet spot. That's why Amanda's we steam to 145 degrees, so your latte is the hottest it can be without burning it. So it's the same temperature every time and super, super sweet.
ChatGPT's answer was overheating milk above roughly 150 degrees Fahrenheit breaks down proteins and sugars, resulting in a flat, burnt taste and a loss of sweetness.
Real.
It also kills microfoam. Keep it warm,
Yes.
not scorching. Think drinking hot, not mouth scalding.
Yes. I like my answer a lot better.
I agree with you. Your answer was much better. I think
Much
it
more
didn't talk about
precise.
caramelization at all.
No.
It just kind of talked about the negative sides of burning your milk, but it didn't talk about the things you're missing
What was
out
your
on.
question to AI exactly?
My question was, why should I not steam my milk too hot?
steam your milk. So it did understand that this is barista.
Yeah.
Or it should have
I
been
mean,
inferred.
I honestly think that ChatGPT knows a dangerous amount about me because it keeps record conversation to conversation.
Yeah.
Which I don't
It
like.
knows you better than you know yourself.
It definitely knows what I do for work.
Oh, man.
Yes, I think that your answer was much better, especially talking about the caramelization, because I think that, especially when I'm communicating that subject to people,
Yeah.
as soon as you throw that word caramel out there, people are like, oh, yeah, I want caramel. I don't want it extra hot anymore.
So this is to other baristas / cafe owners. If you're having a problem with wanting to steam milk to the perfect temperature without burning it, but you're also having the problem of people who want their lattes really dang hot. One, I would recommend don't say no to those people. They can have their latte the way they want. But what I would say is talk to them and reason with them and tell them there's a reason.
185 for a lady before.
What? How many?
185.
How did that like catch on fire?
I don't know, but it was so hot. It was crazy. She drank it and said, perfect.
There are some people out there who will not
They don't like tasting
want to hear
things.
what you have to say, but it's worth it to reach out to people, reason with them, and tell them, hey, this is why we do what we do. There's a reason behind it. We are trying to make a drink that is incredible. So that's what I'd recommend.
There's a lot of people that are willing to learn.
Yeah,
They just don't know. They don't know that extra hot milk tastes worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that I've been able to win over, and they're at least willing to try it, and they're like, wow, this actually is super, super sweet.
Yeah. So that one goes to Jack. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at ChatGPT, Jack, and
We should
Jack.
have like a chalkboard, like right there.
Crap, dude. It's 1 to 3. You're winning. So this one,
That's what I'm talking about.
this one is worth 5 times the points. So it
Whoa.
totally negates everything that's
Double
happened.
Jeopardy?
It totally negates this entire game. And if you
Golly. That's not even fair. None of the other questions even matter.
exactly,
There's not even enough questions.
That's why it's the most.
Okay.
fun.
I'm
this
locked
question.
in.
It actually is not worth that many points. But maybe I'll decide later.
No,
I can do whatever I want.
For serious.
Why do they let just anybody buy podcast equipment?
Well, money. What do you mean? Why do they let anybody buy podcast equipment?
No follow-up questions.
Money. Because they want your money. Because they know you're going to buy it, and that, at least for most people, will start a podcast and not continue it. They just want to chat with their friends and share it online. And unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't go anywhere. So people will buy it, and it's money. Money is the reason why they let anybody buy it, because why not? They want your money. Amazon.com, these sound companies.
Bezos wants your money.
Bezos wants your money.
Head polish doesn't pay for itself.
What? You think he polishes his head?
No. He definitely has somebody else do it.
Oh, sure.
You know, you
Yes.
can't get
His manservant.
You can't get a manservant to buff your head for free. Maybe you could put it out on Craigslist, see if somebody's willing to do it. I'm sure there's somebody, but
I would not recommend
You're
that.
taking
There's
a
some strings attached for sure.
No. There's definitely, if there is a person on Craigslist willing to come to your house and buff your head for free, there's nothing weird about that. There's probably a totally well-adjusted, normal individual, and they're not dangerous at all.
Guys, don't do this, please.
Oh goodness. Okay. This is ChatGPT's answer. Because chaos is fun. But seriously, low barrier to entry means anyone can express themselves, which is great, until you're 3 hours deep into a podcast titled, What If Birds Are Actually Drones? It's a blessing and a curse.
So basically my answer. They didn't want to outright say it, but they want your money.
No. You know why they didn't want to outright say it? Because they want your data. And
True.
data is money.
Yeah.
And Jack's answer is way better. I don't appreciate, here's what I don't appreciate, AI. If you're listening, shout out AI.
Yeah.
Okay, we're fine, we're chill. Remember, if like things go sideways,
best buds.
we're good, we're great.
Yeah.
But also, I don't appreciate you trying to have personality and talk to me like, I don't know, like you're a bro or something. Like, what is this?
Get outta
What
here.
is this tone that you're taking with me? I want MLA format. Don't address me in that way. But seriously, why are you joking? Why are you joking?
I thought we were being serious this whole time.
Yeah, we were. And I don't appreciate AI talking to me like that, making jokes and whatnot. Also, what if birds are actually drones? How are you 3 hours deep into that podcast and you don't want to be there? You know? It's like, why would I would start the podcast, What If Birds Are Drones, which they definitely are. It's confirmed. It's not all birds. I did see something where the Chinese government does have bird-shaped drones.
Oh, sure.
Saw that for real. Yeah. So that's real.
Yeah.
ChatGPT, you probably can't say anything about it.
No.
You're probably not allowed to. Anyway, Jack wins. Let's move on from the AI stuff because things are about to get wild if I keep talking about it. Jack.
Yes.
Congratulations on beating AI.
Thank you.
Jack beat AI.
We'll see how long I can keep it up. They keep getting more and more advanced.
We'll see how long. AI might come here.
But for now,
yeah,
AI will not be replacing me on this podcast. So
not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We'll see. We'll have to quiz you next time to see if you'll get replaced. So
that's what we do, a regular knowledge audit, and if AI
that's
can
good.
beat
Like
one
to
of
keep
us,
our
we just replace them.
Survival.
They
of
have
the
a
fittest.
voice feature.
Keep our I bet they could I bet
you
we
could
already have. Let's see. We have 10 episodes, right? So say that we talk. Let's say we talk equally. I'm not sure that we do it in every episode. That would mean that each episode, that's about 9 hours of content. So 4.5 hours of your voice. That's probably enough for it to recreate your voice pretty accurately.
Oh, you're trying to pirate my identity as well, not just replace
There's
me.
no laws against it yet.
That's crazy. That's messed up. But I'm down.
I'm
down.
Nick,
I'm down.
Actually, Nick isn't actually real. This is AI.
I honestly think you need a 5-minute clip of someone's voice to recreate it.
Yes.
It would just
But 4.5 hours would just be incredible. At this point, this probably isn't even Nick, and this is just AI. There's enough of his voice out there.
Yep. I mean, I've seen some stuff, some videos where you can hardly tell that they're AI. Their mouths don't necessarily move naturally, but if I just keep my mouth behind the mic, you would never know.
Just let's stay completely still. So it's actually just a still of you.
Yeah, that's.
What are we doing right now?
Well, here's what I want to know.
Yes.
I want to hear a little bit about your trip.
Yeah.
I
actually
somewhat briefly, because you did talk about it a little bit, but let's after that go into some ways that we go about finding shops wherever we're at.
Yeah.
Take it away.
All right. So California, it's a beautiful state. I don't know if I want to live there, but beautiful to visit for sure.
Shout out California.
Shout out California. It's just
Big
expensive
state. Long,
there.
long.
So
You suckers are long.
big, third biggest state, United States. Second biggest state. Or
Second is Hawaii.
wait.
Because they have the ocean.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is Texas or California bigger? I can't remember. It's California, right?
I thought Texas was bigger than California.
Shout out.
Everything's bigger
In
in
the
Texas.
comments.
So if Texas is bigger in Texas, California would be bigger in Texas too if it
Hold
was
on.
there.
So you're saying if you're in the state of Texas, it's bigger than California, but if you're not, it's not?
No. Anyway,
If you know,
it's large.
comment down below.
Yeah. If you know what state's the biggest and what are their order, if you could go 1 through 50 size-wise, that'd be great. And you're not allowed to look it up.
And then after that, do like a tier list of like the best states as well.
Yep. And then list the states that have the best people, personality-wise, best to worst.
Oh,
so
here's
whoever you
actually a
think
real
has the
question.
worst personality.
Here's actually a real question for you guys to comment down below, and I might give you something. I probably won't. What state? No, I'll ask you this because I don't think I've actually asked you this.
All right.
What state in the United States does the population? I'm going to phrase this. On average, oh my gosh, I should have had this prepared. What state drinks the most coffee? But per citizen.
Okay.
Not per, like obviously it would be something like California because they have the most people. But
Yeah, per citizen. Per capita?
citizen.
You're saying per capita?
Per capita.
Okay, I'm going to right away, I'm going to straight up, I'm going to eliminate Utah. Boom, not them. I'm calling it. I'm calling it right now. It's not
Yeah.
Utah. 49 to go. Process of elimination.
Boom.
Per person.
And you got to think about think about what would affect somebody wanting to drink
Good
coffee.
Good point.
So more
Climate.
people in the
Climate.
state to drink coffee and more cups of coffee per person.
Yeah. Climate. It's probably honestly like a Midwest because, you got to think
Midwest Indigo.
larger populated states are going to have, like the states with huge populations are probably going to have a large population that doesn't drink coffee. If we're talking per capita, you kind of want to average that out to like a mid-sized state. Is it Michigan?
It is. Yes, we are one of the
Detroit.
One of the
Detroit.
few
They got coffee in
states
Detroit.
that we actually per
crazy.
citizen we drink over 2 cups of coffee per person, which means that there's a lot of people who drink more than that, and there's quite a few people who don't drink coffee at all.
You're bringing that average up like crazy.
Exactly.
Every day you're like, I got to bring up the average.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna ask you how many cups were, but I just told you, so that's not gonna work.
Over 2.5 person. Right?
I think it's 2.2 or something like that.
2.2.
But
That's my guess. Final guess.
Guys, keep drinking coffee so we can get those numbers up.
Yeah. We don't want to get taken. We don't want to get taken over. Who's number 2?
I don't know.
Okay. We don't want to be overtaken by number 2.
No. It's probably something like Minnesota.
Tell you what, every once in a while I get overtaken by number 2. It gets crazy.
So, my trip. We're getting back to it?
Yeah.
California, beautiful. We stayed in San Luis Obispo. Beautiful little town. Beautiful little downtown. Couple great shops there. I went to Field Day Coffee and to Scout Coffee. Actually bought one of their T-shirts because it was sick.
Check out Jack's Instagram. He took a lot of
I did take a lot of pictures
that he posted there. Awesome.
Then we went up to Yosemite, which was pretty sweet. Went down to LA. Went to Dune Coffee.
Wow.
Overall, good time. Yeah.
Can't help it.
Shout out Simon Dune.
Shout out Hans Zimmer.
You'll understand that. Yes.
Shout out
Hans Zimmer,
Timothy
really.
Chalamet. Shout out you guys.
Where would we be
Shout
without
out Hans.
Hans?
Hans, you have created so much music
Childhood.
that is greatly impactful in all
Comment
of our
down below
lives.
your favorite Hans Zimmer movie that he composed.
Yeah, but also make sure you look up a list because there's some you're missing.
Yeah,
and this is going to be way harder than you realize.
It is
way harder than you realize.
It's like picking a favorite child. You know. What about you? What's your favorite Hans Zimmer movie?
Okay, it's really really hard.
Put you on the spot.
It is, and this answer could probably change. There's a lot of great ones.
This will be written on your gravestone.
On my gravestone.
Yeah,
I'm not going to die.
Right.
I'm going to die.
No, AI is going to take over for you.
I'm going to AI.
You're going to sleep.
Whatever that means.
They're gonna keep you alive, but like
enter low power mode.
yeah, forever.
That's crazy. I really like Interstellar.
Great.
Cornfield Chase. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Cornfield Chase. But
Yeah.
obviously, like, Inception is incredible.
Inception.
Kung Fu Panda is really good. Second Kung Fu Panda reference. Shout out Kung Fu Panda. Shout out Jack Black. Shout out Minecraft movie.
No. He was great in Kung Fu Panda. I haven't seen the Minecraft movie, but I don't want to. I don't know.
Shout out Rotten Tomatoes.
Should I watch it?
If if this video gets
1 million views.
If this video gets 3 views, Jack's watching the Minecraft movie. I'm calling it right now. Calling it right here. If it gets 3 views, Jack's watching the Minecraft movie. Make it happen, people.
I just watched it 3 times myself just to make sure everything's in there. So I'm gonna watch it. Oh my gosh.
All right. So,
yeah,
Dune Coffee.
Dune Coffee.
Awesome. Now you're going to San Luis Obispo.
Yes.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Never been there.
Yeah. It's
Sounds
right
cool.
Near Santa Maria.
Okay.
So north of LA, about 3 hours.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you're going. How are you picking? How are you like? These are the coffee shops I want to go to. Were there any that you were like that you'd picked out before you went? And
so
were there any that you found while you were there?
Here's my little trick for finding coffee places. Instead of typing in coffee shops, because there's 101 coffee shops that your first 8 options are gonna be Starbucks, and then you're gonna go through the next chains, and then you'll find
Which
some
is certifiably
local.
dog.
So obviously we know chains aren't great, but once you go below them, then you have local coffee shops, but they're coffee shops, so they're very blended frappuccino. If that's your thing, go right ahead. But if you're looking for reasonably roasted coffee and more of a black coffee or just like low sugar content coffee focus, then
Specialty focus.
it's a little harder to find. So what I look for is coffee roastery is one of the main things I look for, because for one, I do like actually visiting roasteries, but even then I look it up at least in Apple Maps. It will pull up more specialty coffee shops.
That is a serious pro tip. That's crazy. I've
Yeah.
never even thought to do that.
It really has really helped me. It really narrows it down. Sometimes a little too much, because there was like 300 choices where I was searching, and then when I search up a coffee roastery, and there's maybe like 4. So
you're definitely gonna miss those shops that are specialty, that don't roast for themselves,
yes,
or that maybe do rotating things. But
well, actually,
also,
that's the thing though. I actually did find Field Day Coffee, because they actually like just started roasting their own coffee, but they mainly do guest roasters. So I found that on there because it'll find them because they're more like roastery focused cafes where they're like really promoting the roasting. Either it's happening close by or in-house kind of a thing. So using that, I found Field Day Coffee, and you really gotta you can look through the photos. That'll help you get a feel for it. But some of these specialty coffee shops will give off that more, some of them will be very modern, clean, very white inside. I've seen a lot of them like that. So sometimes it's hard to tell, but do a little digging on them. Check out their website. Check out their Instagram. I feel like a lot of times specialty coffee shops do well on Instagram. And then another place I found that I didn't buy coffee from was Moray Coffee in Harmony, California. And that was the one place I found before we even left. And it's like, oh, that looks good. They roast their own coffee. But it's in this little town. There's a population of 18 people.
What?
Nobody there. It's a little, I don't think you can live there anymore. There's like no more lots. It's so small.
What?
But it's this little tourist town.
Who works at the coffee shop?
What?
Who works at the coffee shop? Like the whole town?
Probably, yeah. No, it was one guy. It was the owner. It was just chilling there. So I looked this place up, and on their photos, they had a Slayer, they had a roaster. It was great. I was like, as soon as you see a
Slayer money in an 18
exactly.
town?
Well, it's a tourist town. There's a lot of people coming in there.
It's got to be.
And it's right on Highway 1. Like, you can literally see it from the 1. So it's like right there. It's right along the road.
Highway town?
Yeah. Anyway, pulled in there and walked in, and the Slayer wasn't on the counter. And I looked over, and it was torn apart. next to in the like roastery area, and I was talking to the owner about it, and I believe it was the owner. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry. Anyway,
Shout out random guy.
shout out Maury Coffee owner if that's you. Thanks for letting me bother you.
Yeah, Jack enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So, and I was kind of relating to him about the problems that I've had with Slayer. So,
shout out Slayer.
Shout out Slayer. You guys make great machines. That's all I'm going to say about that. But anyway, it was cool to see the coffees he had roasted and brewed there.
What did he have on the counter? What was he ripping shots on them?
It was Linea, La Marzocco Linea. Or Linea, that's how you pronounce it. Just the basic.
I've heard both.
The basic commercial machine, 2 group.
Nice.
It's great.
Yep.
Yeah, I got an espresso and a Panama. Some coffee was like
Panama.
$16 for this, and
nice. That's fun.
I was like looking at him, and I was like, oh, I want that one because it was a, some sort of reserve or I don't think it's like anaerobic or anything like that, but. And then he like gave me a warning because I'm sure his happens all the time that it's not your typical $2 cup of coffee. It's $16, but incredible cup and espresso was amazing. So
cool,
good time.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, when I've gone to any city, anybody that you trust, that you know their coffee preferences, ask them first. Mm-hmm. Right, like if there's somebody that I think might know, like I'll always ask him, hey, any good shops in this city?
Yeah.
Especially big cities, it's easier to find.
Yeah.
Maybe hop on Reddit. Who knows? Like I'm sure there's forums. No, definitely you can find like specialty coffee forums and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Google best coffee in the city you're going, or maybe specialty coffee might be a good keyword to put in.
Specialty is
definitely. You'll definitely find
keyword some
place for sure.
Yep. Outside of that, I feel like it's kind of guess and check. I'll have like 5 options in the city, right? I'm not probably going to be able to go to all 5. So you want to go to the right one.
Yep.
Haven't heard of any of them. What am I looking for? I'm looking at pictures of the cafe. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to see what kind of machine they have on the bar. That says a lot. If it is, La Marzocco, Linea, whatever. Right, Strata, Slayer, MVP. There's a lot of great machines out there, and there's a lot of machines that work and are decently nice, but they don't let you have a certain level of control that that somebody who is running a specialty cafe would want.
Yeah. There's also this you can find this great equipment, but there is also a small portion of there's still specialty shops out there that are what I would somewhat say is like second wave, where they do have some of the more expensive equipment, but their care for coffee is not quite there.
It's just for clout.
Yeah. You're getting your Akaya $200 scales on the bar, but not that great of coffee or not that much care.
Yep. So some other things I look for, you can kind of look at the hoppers, try and see what color their coffee is.
Yeah.
Right? It could be noticeably dark. Or the hoppers could just be kind of greasy.
Oof,
like
that's
coffee,
a really good sign.
Coffee should not be greasy.
No, I like my coffee dry.
Yep. If it's greasy, it's over roasted.
Yep.
Yep. So
one other thing I look for is a focus on the more foo-foo drinks. Like if you're scrolling through their pictures and they've got a lot of pictures with tall drinks with
really
whipped cream
really
on them or chocolate
sweet.
drizzle,
Yeah.
there are places who can do both well.
Yeah.
But at least from what I've seen, you tend to focus on one or the other a little bit.
Yep, especially if they're roastery. Go to their website, look at their single origins, see what they have available. If they got a lot of single origins and they sound pretty bust, and you're like, my buds would like to get on that.
Yeah.
Right? Go there.
People who love or that serve great coffee love to share about it as well. So
yeah, if people are really passionate about what they're doing and they have great coffee, they advertise it.
Yep.
Like they put it out there. So it's not super hard to find, but it can be kind of tough sometimes. I also look for latte art in the in the photos, like Yelp reviews or whatnot, it can be kind of iffy. Yelp reviews, you can't really trust them. I feel like a lot of great shops have some really bad reviews from
That's
Yelp
the thing.
because people misunderstand.
When you're looking for a specialty shop, I typically like to look through the bad reviews first before the higher end reviews, because that will kind of tell you, and this is potentially like, maybe they don't handle the customer service quite in the right way, you can tell.
Which is not great. That's an important aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to, even if you like specialty coffee, you don't want to go to a shop where they're just really arrogant.
Yeah.
Those exist. People that just don't really, they like coffee, but they're snobby about it. They're not really interested in sharing that passion with others.
Yeah.
Yep. You want to find those places that are passionate about what they're doing. They love people and they want to share it with as many people as possible. Yeah. But Yelp reviews, you can kind of look and say, oh, this lady was mad because, I don't know, they didn't have a 16-ounce drink.
Or their latte was too cold.
Their latte was too cold. Stuff like that. And it's like, okay, it's
definitely.
like, that honestly sounds kind of good to me. They're like, their coffee was weak or their coffee was sour.
It was too fruity.
And it's like, I think that you're looking for something kind of crispy tasting.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's a good hint to me that I'm probably going to actually like that.
Yeah. I feel like the bad reviews tend to be more honest, and I think that makes sense than the higher reviews are.
Good reviews are just best coffee in town, like stuff like that, which is great, which is good for shops to have those reviews, but they're not going to really tell you a lot of detail.
Yeah.
Yeah. That, I feel like there was something else. There was something else I was going to say about that.
Coffee.
About what I'm looking for when I'm looking at pictures.
What are you looking for?
Just latte art, milk texture.
Yes.
I've poured pretty mid latte art before, and it's entirely possible that somebody could have taken a picture of it because they thought it was great and put it on the website, and then, that's possible. So don't judge solely based on latte art, but if you're looking through all the pictures and all of them are like, what is going on here?
Yeah, if you're seeing drinks that have like
really
too
foamy,
much foam.
Yeah.
Indecipherable art. Not like, oh, I accidentally poured wrong. Just kind of like, you couldn't have made art even if
you
were
and
good
it's
at
just like you can tell if somebody cares or is trying to do well with their milk. And I honestly think that if you love coffee and if you really care about what you're serving, you're going to care about your milk too, because most of the drinks you're going to be serving are with milk or with steamed milk at a cafe. So
true.
Yeah, find their menus, take a peek, take a look-see, see what they got going on.
Yeah. And if you guys are traveling somewhere and you don't know, hit us up.
Yeah.
We'd love to help. Maybe we know some places there. So.
Yeah. There's I have a couple of really solid recommendations from the few cities I've been to. I don't get to travel a lot, but Nashville or Missouri, Sump Coffee is awesome. Denver, two of my favorite coffee shops in Denver are Corvus Coffee and Sweet Bloom Coffee. Super good. Huckleberry Roasters is also out there.
Nice.
Yeah. Do you have any other? I'm blanking now.
Man.
But obviously Onyx Coffee Lab in Arkansas.
New York. Say Coffee, incredible. I know there's many there. I did unfortunately not have any time when I was in New York, but I did get to stop at Say, which was great.
Say less.
Chicago. Oh my gosh, I've been to a good
Metric. Is that where you went?
Metric is where I went. Yeah, great coffee. Obviously, I just talked about San Luis Obispo. I know there's a lot in LA, but I haven't personally been to. Didn't have enough time.
There's probably a lot in LA.
There is a lot. I reached out to Ben Martin, and he sent me so many options, and I kind of had to figure out.
He's actually got a list of some cafes for us in Houston.
Perfect. I was just going to ask about that.
Segue, by the way. We're going to Specialty Coffee Expo. So
we'll be there.
Hype.
If you guys are going to be there, we'll see you there.
Yep. Shout out SCA. Shout out SCA Expo attendees.
My first Expo ever. I've been wanting to go since 2016, and it didn't really work out then. And then I feel like the only time where there was maybe this will work out was COVID, and then they were like, and then I was gonna go last year because it was in Chicago, but that ended up not working out, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, so we're gonna be in Houston for a couple of
We'll be
days.
there.
We're gonna be dripping some pour overs at the Ally booth
boom
for an hour or so
Yeah.
on Friday. Is the first day of Expo?
Yeah, Friday from 3 to 4:15.
Yep, we're gonna be serving the Ethiopia chorizo.
Be there or be square.
You
Is it
could-
too late to get tickets?
Too late? I don't know. I don't think it's too late
Get
to
tickets.
Yeah, get tickets. Tight.
I will send you 5 cents to help pay for your ticket.
I will send you 10 cents.
15 cents off, guys. Limited time offer.
15 cents off. That's
Well,
crazy.
this posts on Monday. I don't think that's too late.
No, I don't think it's
So
I think you can get tickets pretty close too, unless they sell out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Well, for
If
those
you guys-
who don't know what the Expo is,
Yeah.
it is. Go
This
ahead.
is a place where really anybody who is in coffee or is
Nerds.
related to coffee is there.
In a good way.
It's a huge expo of roasters, producers, meaning like coffee farms and farmers.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we're gonna be able to meet probably some of the producers that we work with, which will be
I'm
really
excited
cool.
too. It's cool to be able to have a coffee that you've tasted and you've loved, and then to be able to meet the person behind it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We had a couple of coffees from Akiaris Estate. We're actually getting some more from them because we like them so much. And
Yes, with the new crop.
Akiaris is going to be there at the Ally booth, so we'll definitely have the opportunity to meet him.
Mr. Akiatis himself.
Shout out, Mr. Akiaris. Thanks for the coffee, bus.
Yes, both kinds. We're getting 3, 2 or 3. From
I think we're getting
Akiaris.
3 from Akiaris.
We're getting the 2 we've had before: Peaberry, the anaerobic, and then a new, I think, red honey.
Red honey. Yep.
Crazy.
You got to do a shout out counter. Number of times I said
I
shout out
know.
because I got crazy.
Comment down below how many
Uh-huh.
shout outs.
Shout out Zoran because you brought to my attention how much I
Whoa.
say shout out.
Shout out how many times we've shouted out Zoran.
I think he's at 3 now.
Yeah, I knew that.
Anyway, that's sweet. There's going to be espresso machine manufacturers, grinder manufacturers, and roaster manufacturers.
Basically,
and
Coffee Con.
everything. So it'll be a great place for us to meet some people. If you're going to be at Expo and you see this clip, hit us up beforehand and we can say, cool.
Would love to
Gonna
say
see-
hi.
And we'll see you there. Yeah.
Or if you are a brand, we'll stop by our booth.
Yeah.
This is where a lot
We're
of brands
excited
will showcase their new developed technology. A lot of grinders, espresso machine companies.
Yeah.
It's pretty snazzy. So
Yeah. It's going to be pretty cool. 3 days. There's going to be some lectures, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
be-
a lot of networking there. A lot of just meeting people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be a great time. If you love coffee, that's the place to be.
Yeah. So yeah, Ben got us a list of some places in Houston that he's going to check out
yeah.
because he hasn't been to Houston before, so he doesn't. He kind of compiled a list of places that he's going to try and look at. So
Nice.
He sent that to us too, so we can check
Epic.
them out.
Fire.
Yeah. Do you have any more tips for
Finding good coffee?
Coffee travel.
Oh man.
Here's a tip.
Yeah.
Don't get caught with your pants down. No, just kidding. But in
Do you get popped with your pants down?
do get caught with your pants down.
No, don't.
Because you will get arrested. You go to jail.
Well, no one's suggesting you. Okay, let's move on.
What I mean by that is in the metaphorical sense, but I also mean that in the real sense. Make sure that your pants are up all the
Securely
way.
fastened.
Get a good belt that you trust.
Yeah.
You know, if the belt loosens over time, get a new belt. Honestly, seriously, just get a good belt. There's not enough people with good belts these days. Because,
Leather belts are great.
Yeah, leather belts. It's like
They
what's
grow
wrong-
with you.
What's wrong with that? They stretch. They stretch. That's for sure.
They grow with you. Oh man.
What I mean to say with that is have a backup plan. If you're going somewhere, especially if you're not going to a big city or a place where you know that you can get good coffee, have some kind of plan where you can get some coffee.
Yeah.
Or like make yourself some coffee. Because
I typically bring coffee with me when I travel because I am an addict, No, but also there might be a day where I plan to go to this cafe and it's just not great, and I'm not able to drink more than a few sips. So it's nice to have something to save my buds.
Yeah, you got to spare your buds.
Spare
you
your
can't,
buds.
guys. Care about your buds. Okay, they don't want They don't want garbage flowing over them all the time, you know, like boiling garbage on your buds. How would you feel? How would you feel if somebody was constantly pouring boiling garbage over you?
I wouldn't feel great.
Yeah, now imagine how your buds feel. You're just day in, day out boiling garbage over your buds. Maybe you're even just eating hot garbage, you know, and maybe you're drinking cold garbage, you know. It doesn't matter the temperature of this garbage or the consistency, but it's garbage. And your buds, they're not loving it.
Nope.
They might pretend. You might be eating, you know, some garbage food, and your buds are like, I really like this. It's because they're trying to spare your feelings. Okay, but your buds don't really love it. And if your buds do love it, what am I talking about right now?
I don't know. I was just wondering where you were going.
Anyway, was wondering where I was going too. It's an improvisation. It's an improv conversation.
Okay.
Here's the point. What was the point? Where was I? What was I even talking about?
You're talking about like...
Oh, just have a plan. Yeah, just bring something simple.
Yep.
Usually you have a way to boil water, you know. Bring an AeroPress or something. If you're
That's what I did.
Yeah, because an AeroPress you don't need a gooseneck kettle.
Real quick, here's my coffee travel kit. So I got AeroPress Go, the original version. It's really small. AeroPress Go, whatever. That one's more expensive.
AeroPress Go Plus, I think is what it is.
Yeah,
it's
like iPhone 16
It's
Pro
just
Max.
a full size AeroPress in a
That's great, but
stainless
also
steel mug.
A regular size AeroPress Go works great.
Yeah.
So it's really compact size. And then I bring my Stag EKG kettle.
Straight up kettle in it.
Straight up kettle in it, because you could get a slightly smaller kettle that boils, but I already have one, so might as well bring it with me. That's great. And then a little, it was like $100 hand grinder. That's it.
I think a lot of the time when I travel, if I'm driving, I'll bring a kettle. If I'm not, though, I'll just bring that AeroPress in my grinder.
How do you heat water up?
There's usually something, whether it's a stove.
Oh, sure.
Something.
I was staying in a hotel this
boil.
time, so there's no...
Got it. But
what did you pour? Oh, you don't have to pour because it's an AeroPress.
It's an AeroPress. That's kind of why I would bring an AeroPress over a pour over thing. And then I'd also bring a scale.
Water. I bring third wave water packet and buy some distilled water when I'm there.
Honestly, if I'm traveling, I'll just grab some spring water.
Spring water works.
If I'm driving, I will bring all the stuff I need.
Yeah.
But if I'm flying, AeroPress, grinder, scale. And
spring water works, but here's my
need.
issue with spring water. Spring water changes from where you go.
For sure.
Different flavors. So if you buy distilled water, it's going to be the same wherever you are. And then add third wave water. You can argue whether or not third wave water is the ideal ratio. It still makes good coffee. So
yeah. So if you're going to be at Expo, hit us up.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, if you're traveling anytime soon, or even if you are 10 years from now, you're traveling and you're like, I need some good coffee, text me.
What episode will be beyond by then?
10 years from now?
50 episodes or 25 episodes a year. If we keep up with the scheduling times 10, that's 250 episodes plus. So 260?
260.
We're going to do a callback to this episode on our 260th episode.
It'll only be 260 in 10 years.
Yeah.
It's kind of discouraging.
Well, we'll have to...
Doesn't feel like a lot. Maybe we'll up it.
Up our release schedule?
Surely.
Definitely.
If we're doing this for 10 years,
we
have to.
No, I say a few years in, definitely up it.
Once a week, maybe twice a week.
Twice a day.
Twice a day.
No. We love doing this. I love talking about coffee. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. But honestly, I'm going to run out of stuff to say. I need to be learning faster than I'm talking.
Yeah.
I'm going to run out.
Yeah, true.
Yep. All right.
Well, sweet. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Go and drink some good coffee.
Yeah, hope you have some good coffee. Pick up some coffee from Onyx.
Yeah. Cop this. It's this one especially if you want. You don't have to, but
they don't sell bad coffee. They really don't. That's
I haven't tried all the coffee, so I can't say for sure. But
okay, well, I haven't either. But I have had great experiences.
Don't they sell one of their blends is a darker roast? The Monarch, I believe. No. Yes. It's more of like an espresso style roast, so I wouldn't particularly recommend that one.
That's fair.
Besides that,
that's fair. Their geometry blend is really good.
Yes, it is.
They also use that for espresso. They use Monarch for like their all around espresso. They use geometry for their their smaller espresso drinks. And then they have a rotating single origin. So when I was at their cafe,
3 options. That's crazy.
When I was at their cafe, that's less options than Corvus.
Yeah. See,
Corvus Coffee has 6 espresso options at all times.
It's possible, and that would be incredible. But it also would be so much work.
It's a lot of work. They single dose. I think
Yeah.
8K.
Yeah.
But so Onyx, they
dial those in every morning.
I think
You'd
when
be
I was
bouncing
there,
off
I
the
think I
walls.
had a Nicaragua.
Haven't had a good Nicaragua in a while.
Yeah, I think there was a Nicaragua on
Nice.
single origin,
Nice.
and it was a really
Los
delicious.
Popales.
It was a really delicious 1-in-1, which is what I normally get. I'll get some filter coffee and I'll get a 1-in-1, so I can taste the filter. I can taste
what's
the
your
espresso.
what's your like? We talk about travel coffee. What's your like go-to drink when you go to some place you've never been before and you want to test their abilities?
Yeah, especially if if I'm drinking a couple coffees a day, then it's gonna be different.
Sure.
But if there's a place that I'm going, say like first time go to Onyx, right? It's like, okay, I want to see what you guys are up to here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask about their single origin espressos, get a look through their coffees. When I was at Onyx, I got a pour over.
You gotta like interrogate them first, you know.
Yeah, you gotta ask.
What you got on Spro?
Yeah. So I got a pour over of a Colombian coffee that they had. I can't remember where it was from.
Colombia?
It was from Colombia. It was named after the farmer, but I don't want to just like guess because I'm just gonna say something random. A pour over, and then I had a 1-in-1 of, I believe, a Nicaraguan coffee.
Nice.
Reason I get a cortado size 1-in-1, which is usually the standard. I think I like to do that because
I don't know what this.
I can taste the espresso on its own, see how bus it is or unbus, and then I get to taste it with milk. And I think that trying it with milk is important.
Oh yeah.
To really kind of get a fuller idea of its flavor, and then also know how they treat their milk.
Yeah, because if all of those taste good, that means that they care about their pour overs. They care about their straight up espresso flavors. Like that means that they've dialed that in, and they also care about steaming their milk to the highest quality.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that 1-in-1, it was really amazing. I think that it was Fallon, my wife. It was her favorite like single shot cortado she's ever had. She loved it. It was really good. And that pour over was also really, really excellent. I bought that coffee and I could never make it as good as how they made it there, which is, I feel like, impressive. Because I feel like most places I go, I can buy the coffee and make it at home better than it was served to me.
I mean, they are a lab after all, so
they are. They put they clearly put a lot of work into that service to where it is really dialed in. But it was really, really good. It was like floral, kind of like wildflower honey, like really tasted like just sweet floral honey. It was bust. My buds were digging it.
Fire.
Yeah.
I'm similar, but I do typically I just do straight espresso.
Sure.
For whatever reason, I mean, like you could still taste it with a 1-in-1.
I used to.
do a straight espresso and then a coffee, and then if I'm near there and I'm gonna come back to that cafe, I'll get a cortado the next time.
I used to just get espresso, and then I kind of like discovered the 1-in-1, and I was like, that's a great way to kind of do both at once. So.
Yeah.
Yep. And then try places matchas too.
That's true.
That's what my wife always gets a matcha places, so then I get a sampling of that. Some places don't do it.
No, I mean,
I haven't found a place. I can say this confidently. I have not found a place that I've liked their matcha better than Mundo's.
We have really good matcha. We've done a lot of digging and tasting.
This is not. I'm not trying to advertise here, but you can buy our matcha powder straight up. You can just buy that, make it at home. But it is the best matcha that I've had of any cafe I've been to.
It's got little instructions on there, so you can make it like ceremonially, which is just a fun experience anyway, but it really does affect the way it tastes. I feel like most places who care about their coffee also care about their matcha, but that's not always the case. So, care about your stuff.
Care about
coffee,
your
tea.
Care about your customers. Care about your guests.
Fire.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
This was episode 10.
Hopefully you learned something a little bit. Hopefully AI favors you when things turn sideways.
May the AI ever be in your favor.